Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Weather with Sim forecast. And in today's forecast, we're going to be talking about another large storm that's going to be coming to the United States as we get into the end of this week. And this is going to bring a lot of impacts, as not only are we anticipating the potential for significant severe weather, especially once we get into the weekend, and then once we get into the beginning of next week, including Easter Sunday, this is when we're anticipating the significant severe weather to continue, which may impact your Easter weekend plans. So make sure you are preparing for Easter weekend, as I do expect this weather pattern to really start to ramp up once we get into the end of this week, and like I said, even into the beginning of next week. So make sure you guys are all being prepared out there, as this will more than likely be a storm that ruins a lot of people's Easter weekend plans. And then after that, I think we're going to continue to see more and more significant severe weather events even as we enter the month of May. But we even need to watch for more than just severe weather, including flash flooding, where if we see a lot of these storms roll on through the same areas, this could also lead to flash flooding, which it looks like flash flooding will also be a concern, which we will talk about why in today's forecast as well. Let's first start off by talking about today, and you guys can see that we aren't expecting anything severe today, but maybe a few isolated thunderstorms possible across areas in New England and as well as the Mid-Atlantic. Once we get into tomorrow, we do have a marginal level 1 out of 5 threat for some severe weather across northern Oklahoma, eastern parts there of Kansas, into southeast Nebraska. You guys really need to be paying attention to the threat once we get into Wednesday of this week, which will be for tomorrow. Main concern for tomorrow is going to be the potential for large hail and even a few isolated damaging winds. Other than that, we're not really anticipating anything crazy, so you don't really need to take tomorrow seriously, as there is no tornado threat in play for tomorrow. But I still wouldn't roll a tornado out, especially if things come together just right. But for how this is looking, I don't think you guys need to take tomorrow very seriously, but at least make sure you have your vehicles into your garage to protect them from damaging winds and large hail, and make sure you also have a few ways to receive alerts just in case. If we continue to take this farther out, once we get into day 4, this is when I am expecting the significant severe weather threat to increase across areas from southern Michigan all the way back down there into Texas. And then once we get into day 5, this is mainly for the continuation of the severe weather threat, because you can kind of see how this severe weather threat is lining up right across parts there of Michigan all the way back down there to Texas. But if we look at day 5, you can see how the edge of it kind of lines up with the day 4 threat, which would be for your Saturday and as well as your Friday. So we will need to keep an eye on this very closely, as Friday and Saturday are going to be 2 big days at the end of this week. Because like I said, for Friday, I'll show you guys that one more time. You guys can see how this does line up with the edge of the severe weather threat. And then once we get into Saturday, you guys can see that is mainly for the continuation of the line of thunderstorms that we're expected to roll on through, which will even continue into Saturday afternoon, which is one of the reasons why they continue to show this slight risk for severe storms even as we get into Saturday, before a new severe weather event looks to pop up once we get into Sunday, and perhaps even continuing into Monday. So if you got any Easter weekend plans, you may need to cancel them, as we got a pretty large area from Texas all the way up there into southern Illinois that could see some stormy week or Easter weekend. So you guys really need to keep an eye on this closely, as damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes will all be possible for your Easter. Now, let's talk about why we are seeing all this by looking at the Cape energy and moisture. You guys can see that we will be seeing some pretty good amounts of energy, especially as we get into Thursday and as well as into Friday and Saturday of this week, where we are talking Cape values right around 1,000 to even 2,000 joules per per kilogram, which is enough to cause potentially some significant severe weather, as we're going to be seeing that widespread moisture around. And then I am anticipating once again another big severe weather threat to potentially be ongoing once we get into Monday of next week, Sunday and Monday of next week, which could ruin some Easter plans. So if you got any Easter weekend plans, like I said, you guys may need to cancel them, as I am expecting the severe weather threat to even continue into Monday, as we're going to continue to see that moisture stick around even Wednesday of next week, and it just continues, guys. It doesn't even stop from there, so we really need you guys to be on high alert, as this is going to be a very active weather pattern that will more than likely disrupt your plans. And then if we also look at your guys' total precipitation, you guys can see that from now all the way to April 30th, when we're going to be seeing all of these storms rolling through. Look at this, guys. We're talking training showers and thunderstorms over the same areas. So some areas may experience storm after storm after storm, potentially leading to rainfall totals between 4 to 6 inches across this entire region right here that I'm circling. This is going to be the area that we really need to keep an eye on closely, as we might even see some higher totals even up there in the Lower Ohio Valley, where we still have some of those maroon colors showing up. But even if we look at the GFS model actually shows more of that rainfall occurring down here towards parts there of the northern Dixie Valley region, Southern Plains, and as well as the Ohio Valley. But it then starts to show maybe a chance for flash flooding over there in the plains once we enter the month of May. So we will need to keep an eye on the threat very closely, as I do think flooding is also going to be another concern with these storms as they continue to push on through. And if we look at that on the GFS model, you guys can see that once again we're talking potentially training showers and thunderstorms over the same area, because we're going to be seeing a stall front across the Ohio Valley, and that's why you can just see those showers and thunderstorms just training over the same areas. And I think that storm system will finally be out of here by Wednesday, before more showers and thunderstorms even look to roll on through the region as we get throughout the rest of next week and even into the week after, which is uncertain. But I do think the severe weather is more than likely going to continue, since we are in the most active time of year. Let's also talk about a few more things, including the winds. Some of you guys are probably wondering if these storms are going to contain any high winds with them. And if we look at that, some of the winds may be pretty high. We're talking potentially areas that could maybe see winds between 40 to 50 miles per hour, especially down there in the Southern Plains. If we compare that to the European model actually shows some pretty strong winds as well, especially down here across the Southern Plains, where we even got some areas of 50 to 60, even some isolated 70 mile per hour winds showing up down there in New Mexico and Colorado, before a lot of that wind is actually going to continue to push eastward even into the Ohio Valley, where I am anticipating at least the potential for some high winds over here, which, is enough to meet the criteria for a wind advisory, obviously. And then after that, we will continue to see more rounds of wind rolling through as we continue to see these storms. But the good news is that these winds are not going to be nearly as bad as what we saw when we had that big bomb cyclone back in the month of March. So you guys definitely, will... So you guys will definitely need to be taking it very seriously, as I do think this is definitely going to cause some major problems. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, as I am anticipating the severe weather to really start to ramp up, especially once we get into the end of this week and even into next week, where severe weather, including tornadoes, damaging winds, and large hail will be possible. And of course, we really appreciate your guys' support, so consider clicking that like button down below as well, and make sure to also turn on all notifications for if and when we do go live for one of these. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your Tuesday out there, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching, and goodbye.